This is a 1993 Rover Mini. Specifically, it's my 1993 Rover Mini. His name is Morris and I love him very much. And this year it's his 30th birthday, so for the occasion, I thought I'd make something to commemorate him. Specifically, this Airfix kit of the Mini. I got this little 1/43 example off of eBay, I believe, for a couple of quid, and it's been sitting in my stash for a while, and I think it's about time I built it. So, without any further ado, hello, and welcome to Airfixing. This kit came as a starter set in this boxing with a paintbrush, 12ml of poly cement and 3 acrylic paints, Humbrol No. 3 Brunswick Green, No. 11 Silver and No. 85 Satin Black. It also came with a little Top Trump style info card to entice all the late 90s kids to buy more of the kits. I'm sure Airfix could have made a cool sort of Webkins-like service out of these where you could upload your kits to an online aircraft hangar of some kind, which would have been very cool, but Airfix had no money around this time and were less than a decade away from going completely bankrupt, so they probably couldn't have afforded this sort of service if they wanted to make it. Oh, what could have been. Because most of these parts were either black or silver, I gave them a base coat of No. 85 all over. Whilst the pot in the box was still liquid, when I tried using it, I realised it had basically just turned into this weird congealed oil which didn't work as paint at all. I quickly concluded that whatever had happened to this paint, it probably meant it was unusable, and that probably applied to both other paints, so they all went in the can, or back in the box where they came in, I guess. And I used my own bottle of No. 85 to paint up all the parts that needed them, which actually didn't take that long. I picked out the areas like the exhaust pipes, headlight bezels and the engine in No. 11 Silver, however I later went over the engine in No. 53 Gunmetal to give it a more grungy, engine-y look. I also dry brushed some silver onto the dashboard to pick out the dials so they pop out a bit more. It'll barely show up once the shell is on, but it's worth it for you guys. Something revealed in the tool is that this kit was actually not designed by Airfix, but around this time their money problems meant they ended up outsourcing a lot of their kits to Hella Models, selling their kits under license. You can still find Hella selling this same kit to this day, despite the tooling being over 44 years old at this point, and including some obvious raised panel lines and other low quality details that would not get by today. At least they're mature enough to disclose this on the box, so you know what you're getting into. It's not a bad kit by any stretch, it actually is quite marvellous in its simplicity. It's just quite old to her being sold today as a new kit for building. For the bodywork, I chose to recreate the paintwork of Morris himself. As such, I dug out a can of his distinctive Caribbean blue paint to match his colour nearly exactly. I sprayed my GameCube with this once. Anyway, after trying to paint it initially, the paint weirdly went dull and grey for no particular reason in every area apart from, weirdly, the areas with blue tank just behind them. The conclusion I drew from this meant that I found myself running to Tesco's to buy a new slab of blue tack to cover the entire model with. And wouldn't you believe it, it worked! I think the blue tack must have been doing something to stop the paint from penetrating through the plastic, or maybe it kept it warm in the late October cold. Who knows? I also sprayed a bit of the paint into the lid and added some to the interior for extra detail, but I will say it seemed to corrode the acrylic paint when I applied it, so I tried to be careful not to disturb it anymore during application. I also added some details in silver for chrome trim and a mix of No. 71 oak and No. 171 antique bronze for some delicious walnut bling. The result is not quite accurate to the interior of the real Morris, but more of a what if of a slightly spruced up interior for him. One with slightly nicer older door cards. And 3 dials. Having finished painting, I glued in the windows, which was rather finicky. The front and back ones came as one piece and snapped into place very nicely with a bit of superglue, but the side windows did not fit as well and were rather close to falling out, even at best. If you ever come around to my place, don't go poking these windows with any fingers or sticks. The final parts to be added were the exhaust pipe, the front number plate and the lights. I painted the back lights in my clear Vallejo paints in accordance with the paint instructions for the back instead of the front, and glued them on over a silver backing I had painted onto the rear panel previously. I lost one of the headlights in the carpet and nearly gave up looking, only to find it after seeing its glint in the corner of my eye after having given up looking for it. I stuck that in along with a fuel filler cap to finish construction. I did not apply any of the decals as I felt that they were not really necessary and did not fit the car I was trying to portray, so I left them all off. I then masked off the windows, gave the entire model a brisk once or twice over with some satin spray varnish, and completed my model. I was somewhat taken aback by how fast this mould came together, taking barely more than 2 days from cracking open the box to having a finished product. The result turned out surprisingly well too. It's an old tool, but it still has decent detailing and all the parts come together quite smoothly, bar a few. This shot here was almost horrifyingly good, I found. It almost looks like the real deal the way this forced perspective shot turned out. It was also very much a treat putting my model next to the real Morris. It's a big mini and a mini mini. How cool is that? I think it offers a very accurate and faithful recreation of the real thing, which makes me very happy. This model will proudly find its place next to my 1/43 scale E-Type, another British motoring legend. Hopefully it'll feel a bit less lonely with another little one on the shelf next to it. And don't worry, I've got a couple 132 models in the pipeline too. But until then, it's goodbye from me. See ya!